Hi guys, welcome to the Vet Info Spot. My name is Colleen Bentler. I'm going to be your host today with my lovely co-host, Shiri Akrish. Hi, Shiri.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Are you ready to talk about our topic today?
Yes.
And our topic is quality of life. Before we get into it, I also want to introduce and say that me and Shiri are both occupational therapy students at Cleveland State University. And we are just so honored to be able to talk to you guys today. You guys have been our Cleveland State student veterans. You might be asking yourself, what is OT and what is quality of life? I don't even know what this presentation/podcast is going to be about. And we're here to answer your questions. So first and foremost, Shiri, what would you say occupational therapy is?
It's a good question. So occupational therapy to me is just basically providing help with the things that people may take for granted, like activities of daily living. So grooming, dressing, meal prep, all the things that you do throughout your day, your occupations that you have to do to get through life. And I think occupational therapists help you get back to those things.
I think you are exactly right. I was going to say just about the same thing. We are a medical profession that we are aiming to increase the independence in daily activities. Like you said, we can address all different areas. We can address self-care, home management, work, play, leisure, sleep, social participation. And we can do this with such a wide variety of individuals too, which I think is so cool. Whether it's kids in schools, whether it's in a hospital setting with, the general population, or whether it's even with veterans, like we're here with you all today. So our second question, of course, was in terms of what we're doing specifically today is what is quality of life? So Shiri, what does quality of life mean to you?
Okay.
Or how would you define it?
How to define quality of life? Okay, I would say it's kind of like the enjoyment and gratitude you have for the thing, like the life you have. So if you don't have a good quality of life, then you might be struggling in some areas. If you have a good quality of life, whether even if things are not perfect, it's kind of like that gratitude element and like just doing things you enjoy.
I love that. When I was coming up with my own definition, I didn't even think of the word gratitude, but I think that really encompasses what quality of life can mean. My word for it was fulfillment, like what things fulfill you, what makes you, excited about your day. It's the participation in the things that mean most to you. It can also mean just establishing a work-life balance. So having, the things you have to do, but also the things you want to do and being able to manage both of those things at the same time. It could mean working for or trying to attain goals that you set for yourself. And personally, I think quality of life can also be the people that you surround yourself with. So it might not be an actual activity or event, but just being around the people who inspire you or who give your life that meaning. But according to the WHO, the World Health Organization, they define quality of life as an individual's perception of their position in life in the context of culture and value systems in which they live and in relation to their goals, expectations, standards, and concerns. So now that we know what quality of life is, we also wanted to identify.
I feel like goals and fulfillment and gratitude, those are all like the three.
Yeah. And I like how the World Health Organization also talks about goals in addition to expectations. So it can be what you're doing right now, but it can also be what you want to do in your future. It doesn't have to be
right, because your quality of life
present.
Can improve, right? Like it can always get better, and
it can always improve. It can always change, and it's a lot to do with your own perspective and what yourself are involved in. Anyway, so the objectives to our vlog today. By the end of this vlog, we would love our viewers to be able to identify what quality of life could mean to them. Identify one or more occupation, activity, role, or habit that is meaningful to them. State one or more resource that could provide engagement or promote quality of life, and also be able to demonstrate one or more strategy into how you can improve your own quality of life. So we want to be able to give you the tools and resources today in order to kind of like start to understand what quality of life is, but then we also want to give you some concrete steps as to how to address your own quality of life in your own life. So Shiri, you might be asking, why is this so important? And I would love to answer that for you. Yes. Well, for our veteran population, and especially our student veterans, sometimes they could be struggling with mental health issues, anxiety, depression, some of the heavier topics that maybe are harder to communicate about. They also tend to struggle occasionally to be able to socially participate or stay engaged on campus. They sort of have this background of experiences that some of the other students at their school don't or can't relate to because they haven't been through the same things. Some veterans, student veterans, may feel a little bit of stigma because of it. They could struggle from some post-traumatic stress, and all of these combination of factors, and I'm sure more, could lead to a decrease in social participation, a decrease in life satisfaction, and an overall decrease in quality of life, which is why we're discussing that today. So the things that we need to be able to know are specific strategies, right? How to incorporate this into our daily life. And so we want to address quality of life strategies by improving our own coping abilities. We also want to be able to help individuals engage in meaningful activities, which I keep saying things like meaningful activities, Shiri, but the thing is, the things that are meaningful to you might not be equally as meaningful to me, right? Because we all come from different backgrounds with different experiences and different interests. So the idea of quality of life can be just so broad because of that. But another strategy is to provide people with the social supports needed to participate in quality of life strategies, or to do it with them, because that makes it so much more fun and so much more fulfilling. We also want to provide healthy outlets to stress and to enhance that life balance. And we want to promote mindfulness and an intrinsic sense of control so that people feel like, you know, they are able to have a good quality of life because they're choosing to participate and choosing to, you know, investigate new hobbies and things like that. And so from an occupational therapy lens, we used to, we like to call that MOHO, so the model of human occupation. And very briefly, the model of human occupation looks at three different things. So it looks at the volition, so the willingness to explore new options. It looks at the ability to participate and perform those occupations, and then habituation. So not only are we looking at your quality of life now, but how can we continue to build that quality of life and overall create that sense of life balance. And so this section might be a little dry, so hang in there with me. But we're going to go through some literature and articles to show how in the past we have seen quality of life improve for our veterans. Our first, my first research article for you is an article that identified relationships between meaning of life and life satisfaction in relationship to participation for students, student veterans who were currently attending school. And so they looked at the students' coping strategies, their meaningful activities, and their social supports. And they found that those three things combined increased and correlated to greater psychological well-being and subjective well-being, which means that veterans who were participating in coping strategies, in meaningful activities, and had social supports had decreased anxiety, decreased depression, overall just felt like they were in a better place. And so for some more, you know, concrete ways of how this could happen, there are some other literature out there that looked at, for example, a 3-day, 2-night outdoor recreation activity where they did fly fishing as an activity. And they found that that helped reduce psychological stress or PTSD symptoms. It also increased your level of alertness, your attentiveness, your mood, your depression, your anxiety. It led to better sleep quality. And get this, Shiri, it also had a 6-week follow-up, which meant that if you start doing these quality of life activities, even if you do it, say today, in a couple weeks from now, you could still be feeling better because of how you're participating, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
It is really
awesome. A lot of these
awesome.
are relevant, not just to the veteran, but like all students. So I think that's like really
Exactly, which is also why I think it's such a great topic, because I mentioned a little bit earlier about a stigma to it. But the great thing about quality of life is we all need quality of life, and we all need to be able to participate in meaningful activities.
We all get too sucked into like, especially during finals time, like now we all get a little too sucked into studying in our own little world of school, and we forget that there's more beyond this, and we can
exactly. And some of these articles specific to our veteran population talk about scuba diving or talk about surfing and fishing, and how participating in these different activities through, you know, the Wounded Warriors Project, or just because people participated in research. All of these articles are finding that participating in these activities decrease stress, decrease PTSD symptoms, increase social functioning, increase psychological well-being. They're more satisfied, improved mental health. And one of my favorites said that they found determination and inner strength. And that was in a certain article that was about the impacts of sports and physical activity. So just, you know, being involved in a social sport, and how that could enhance subjective well-being.
Which is so doable. Just, like scuba diving might be harder to find, but like over the like getting into a sport would be like,
yes, so doable. Yes. Yes, I love that you said that, because that leads me into my next topic, is how doable is it, right? Because we need the resources. And so you and I as OTs, our job here is just to encourage our student veterans, or veterans in general, or honestly, people in general, to get involved. And so for our Cleveland State students, what they can do is ask themselves, what is meaningful? How do you access it? And how do I develop these coping strategies that we've been talking about today? For anyone listening, you could write down 5 to 10 activities that are important to you and rank them, and ask yourself, you know, how can I participate in these? Or am I participating in these? And then you can also take advantage of resources. Shiri, like you said, for our Cleveland State students, we have an incredible recreation center, right? So if you find meaning through exercise, through sports, through, you know, that sort of like participation aspect, the rec center, which is free to CSU students, offers individualized exercise programs. You can work with personal trainers. You could join group exercise classes. If you get on the website, they have them all listed as to, you know, what might be interesting to you and what times they occur at. I would highly recommend going on and seeing. But one of my articles mentioned that work itself can be meaningful to people and can improve people's quality of life. Because if you think about it, you're making money, but you're also feeling a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning in your life. And so for our Cleveland State students, we also have our career services office, which offers career coaching if you're looking for a job. They also do resume building. They can help you with those first steps of networking and getting yourself, you know, foot in the door into a new job. So if a job is what you're interested in, that is a great resource. If you're just looking for social participation, our CSU Student Life Center, they have intramural sports, they have student organizations. If you are at all creative, they have art, theater, dance, music. They have Greek life. They have our excellent Viking Veteran and Military Resource Center for all of our student veterans out there who want to get involved with other veterans. But as far as Cleveland State goes, that's what we have at Cleveland State. Shiri, can you think of anything outside of Cleveland State within the Cleveland area that might increase people's quality of life?
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's like, well, first of all, there's intramurals. I know that you can do that outside of CSU. There's like, you know, you can join like a softball league, bowling, even in just like going to like the zoo or like going to the art museum, which is free. Just like getting out and doing stuff. I feel like a lot of times, like especially in the winter when it's gray, like just getting out and doing like anything that brings you some joy can inspire you to do other things. So yeah, I think that would add to some quality.
I agree. Those were great ideas. I know, you know, like in our own class this semester we went to, it's called Adrenaline Monkey, which is like an indoor obstacle course, which is a great way to, you know, go out and be active. Yeah, it was really cool. I think Cleveland has so many different options. Playhouse Square District, if you're interested in going to, you know, maybe see a play as increasing quality and making that a habit. Or if you're interested in theater, maybe go and see if you can be an extra in a play. I think that would be so cool.
You can even be an extra in a movie.
An extra in a movie, like our famous co-host Shiri Akrish has been. And then one of my other ideas was the Cleveland Marathon, since I personally love running and I find so much life meaning and quality in my own running experience. So I, of course, have to recommend the Cleveland Marathon, which runs in the spring. If you can find a friend who wants to do it with you, you know, there's your social interaction too. The metro parks, yeah. Exactly. A huge resource.
But I found out that you can rent like jet skis and like kayaks by East 4th Street, or not East 4th Street, by like the water over there downtown. Yeah, so there's actually like a lot of things, like even in the downtown area, really close to campus, that you can do.
No way. Yeah, Cleveland has a ton, and it's just a matter of deciding what is going to be most meaningful for you, what is going to be fulfilling, where can you fit in your schedule. And then specifically for our student veterans, we have a couple of resources as well. Through the Wounded Warriors Project, which I mentioned earlier. They did a scuba diving activity in one of my research articles, but just in general, they offer so many different organizational services, programs, events throughout the year that are all focused on exploration, which I love, exploring new activities, as well as companionship. So you're getting that social participation aspect in as well, because it is important to participate in something and participate in something with others to get that social participation in. There is also the We Defy Foundation, which offers jujitsu to combat veterans, as well as fitness training. And they are located in Beechwood, Brook Park, and North Olmsted. So they are very close. We worked with Team Red, White, and Blue this semester, but Team Red, White, and Blue is within the Cleveland chapter. Their mission is to enrich the lives of veterans with the power of community. So they meet about once a month or every couple of months. It would be best to go on their website and find out when and where they're meeting, but they tend to have very fun, engaging activities focused on creating a sense of community within the veterans within the Cleveland area. We also have something called the Mission Continues, which is an organization that connects veterans to serving their communities. So there is a Cleveland, they call it the Cleveland Platoon, and they work to do service projects within the Cleveland area. So it's a way to give back to their own community, which I think is awesome. And last but not least, I have a website called militarytransition.org. If all of these ideas that I've given you so far today, if none of them sound meaningful, fulfilling, exciting to you, militarytransitions.org has a couple, if not more than a couple, other ideas that I highly suggest anyone listening goes and looks and sees what they find. So as our closing remarks to you guys are, as OTs, myself and Shiri, our roles are to help our veterans by helping to encourage them to seek opportunities for socialization, for play, for leisure. All of these things that we are suggesting to you can also help with, if you're experiencing symptoms of anxiety, of depression, of, loneliness, of decreased social participation. All of these activities can help you and have been supported by research to sort of improve your quality of life. So we want to encourage you to seek out these resources. And we want to educate you on the importance of participating. And we also want to recognize that everyone is unique in their interests and that you can find quality of life just about anywhere as long as you look. So my closing remarks to you is to think about what is meaningful to you, to write down one concrete goal. For example, my concrete goal could be, this month, I would like to participate in one service activity. And then you have to go on and reach out and try to look up or use resources to find how you can participate and achieve that goal. And then last but not least, we want you to make it a habit. So put it on your calendar, try to do it more than once. Shiri, anything to add? Any specific goal or quality of life activity that is of interest to you?
That's a good question.
I haven't yet mentioned today.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it'd probably be working out. I haven't done that in a while just because like the gyms have been like, they were closed for a while and all that. So I'm trying to, that would be a goal for me. And then the quality of life. I think also for me, in my case, I've got a family. So like I've got a daughter. So that's a big part of my quality of life. So just maybe spending more time playing and, you know, that like
you can combine the two. Bring your daughter to the gym.
The gym. That would go off well. She's 4.
That would go well.
Yeah, no, I really like that. I think the idea of that you said to make it a habit, because I think that's really important as well. Like I think a lot of times we'll like be like, oh, I'll take a walk, and then like you'll be like, oh, I should take a walk, and they start to feel guilty, and then your quality of life goes down because you feel guilty that you didn't do the things that you could have done. So like actually like putting that into your planner and making the time for those things that you enjoy is actually really important.
Yeah.
That's how I feel at least.
Yeah. Or your goal could be as simple as wanting to expand your interests. You know, like maybe it's not doing the same thing each time. Maybe it's this time I'm going to try going to a theater group and seeing if I'm interested in that. And next you can go to the gym and see if you really enjoy one of the, you know, group exercises that they do at 6 a.m. in the morning. And then you realize I can't wake myself up at 6 a.m. in the morning. I will go to the 1 o'clock class instead.
Right.
You know, there are just so many different things that you can do. And I would encourage everyone to just explore and see what is meaningful for them.